1,000 welcomes to you today from Celtic Bard Jeff. Today I have a Irish ghost story for you. The title is Grace Connor, and it was written by Miss Letitia McClintock. Thady and Grace Connor lived on the borders of a large turf bog in the parish of Clondivaddock, where they could hear the Atlantic surges thunder in upon the shore and see the wild storms of winter sweep over the muckish mountain and his rugged neighbors. Even in summer, the cabin by the bog was dull and dreary enough. Thady Connor worked in the fields, and Grace made a livelihood as a peddler, carrying a basket of remnants of cloth, calico, drugget, and frieze about the country. The people rarely visited any large town and found it convenient to buy from Grace, who was welcomed in many a lonely house where a table was hastily cleared that she might display her wares. Being considered a very honest woman, she was frequently entrusted with commissions to the shops in Letterkenny and Ramelton. As she set out towards home, her basket was generally laden with little gifts for her children. "Grace, dear," would one of the kind housewives say, "here's a farrel of oaten cake with a taste o' butter on it. Take it wi' you for the weans." Or, "Here's half a dozen of eggs. You've a big family to support." Small Connors of all ages crowded round the weary mother to rifle her basket of these gifts. But her thrifty, hard life came suddenly to an end. She died after an illness of a few hours and was waked and buried as handsomely as Thady could afford. Thady was in bed the night after the funeral, and the fire still burned brightly, when he saw his departed wife across the room and bend over the cradle. Terrified, he muttered rapid prayers and covered his face with the blanket, and on looking up again, the appearance was gone. Next night, he lifted the infant out of the cradle and laid it beside him in the bed, hoping thus to escape his ghostly visitor. But Grace was presently in the room and stretching over him to wrap up her child. Shrinking and shuddering, the poor man exclaimed, "Grace, woman, what is it brings you back? What is it you want with me?" "I want naething from you, Thady, but to put Dawn Ween back in her cradle," replied the spectre in a tone of scorn. "You're too feared for me, but my sister Rose will not be feared for me. Tell her to meet me tomorrow evening in the old Wallsteads." Rose lived with her mother about a mile off, but she obeyed her sister's summons without the least fear, and kept the strange tryst in due time. "Rose, dear," she said, as she appeared before her sister in the old Wallsteads, "my mind's uneasy about them twa red shawls that's in the basket. Maidie Hunter and Jane Taggart paid me for them, and I bought them with their money. Friday was 8 days. Gie them the shawls the morrow. And old Moosey Gurkle gied me the price of a wheelie coat. It's in under the other things in the basket. And now, farewell. I can get to my rest." "Grace, Grace, bid a wee minute," cried the faithful sister, as the dear voice grew fainter and the dear face began to fade. "Grace, darling, Thady, the children, one word mair." But neither cries nor tears could further detain the spirit hastening to its rest. And that was the story of Grace Connor. Good day.